This is Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Aurora, Colorado. I'm here with Rad Muay Thai, Martial Arts and Fitness, brand new for 2015. They're going to be helping you improve your health through fitness, through Muay Thai, kickboxing. I'm here with the instructor, owner. Let's start off a little bit with you, Rad. Quite honestly, you pretty much been in fitness most of your life, bodybuilder as well as a triathlon. Is that correct?
Correct.
What got you involved in this line of work?
Well, I used to do martial arts as a kid, and then when I grew up, I kind of fell out of it a little bit. You know, you just kind of outgrow things. And so after competing in like an Olympic triathlon, I just decided to kind of get back to martial arts and do some combat sports, mainly because my son wanted to do some martial arts, so we joined a class together. And then from there, I just kind of, it reinvigorated me, and I realized how much of a benefit it was from a fitness aspect, and just kind of put it into all my other training regimens and went strictly to a combat sports functional fitness type training regimen, and it really just helped me kind of hone everything and pull all my fitness goals together. So I was really happy with that.
Wonderful. I mean, there's many martial arts out there. Each one of them have their attributes when it comes to fitness. Why did you focus on Muay Thai?
Initially I focused on grappling, and then because I went blind in 2007. And then I couldn't strike because I had a corneal transplant. So I started grappling to make sure that I could protect myself and really won a lot of titles in that area. And then I decided after that to kind of get back into striking. And coming from a Taekwondo background, I liked kicks, but I started to realize that the striking in Muay Thai was much more powerful, and the training was just more better conditioning. And so I just kind of ended up gravitating towards that.
The challenge that you faced in 2007, did that kind of change your direction of some of your training?
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't allowed to lift heavy weights for a while because of the bulge in the eye, and I could my donor tissue could burst and stuff like that. So I had to be very careful training. That's actually when I got into triathlons, trying to get away from weight training altogether and just do conditioning. But then it gets kind of boring, and so I just against doctor's advice just started going back into martial arts, and then found that to not affect my condition as far as my transplant.
You have said that combat sport athletes are some of the best athletes out there when it comes to fitness. Quite honestly, we say we're in a battle within ourselves, but these guys are also battling for the battle coming up. Do you think that makes a big difference in the intensity level?
Oh, absolutely. I think martial arts training, combat sports training, it helps you push past a lot of plateaus in life. A lot of my students have sent me text messages, written me messages and letters basically saying that I've changed their life, which is what prompted me to really break out on my own. One student just told me last week, he said he was in college, he was slacking, and he said, and I never knew this, and he said through the training, it basically has pushed him to be a better student, to get up, to do his work, and I had no idea, and I believe that it's made me a better person, a better husband, a better father, just giving me self-discipline. That not that I was lacking, but I was able to go even further with that and kind of ascend to another level.
You basically have created a family-friendly environment here, and this is a place that pretty much all ages can come in and train. Like you say, you don't have to be a fighter to train like a fighter, but absolutely, alongside the fighters, that has to be a real benefit working along guys that are pretty disciplined.
Oh, absolutely. Even if they're not when they come in, the discipline of the people around them, it's contagious, and so. You can train like a combat sports athlete, and it will push you again to just levels to past limits that you've previously set for yourself. And maybe you never thought you can push past that, but when you see others around you doing it, you don't want to be left behind, and it just gives you a discipline and a drive. And so I think it's motivation through the motivation of others.
Motivation of others. Speaking of motivation of others, like you say, one of your passions is that of students, children that are getting involved here. You've got a deal called Little Lions. Yeah. What takes place in something like that? The Little
Lions program is ultimately it's the 5 to 7 age group. Parents bring their children in here, and mostly it's for guidance. They're a bit overly energetic, right? And so they're all over the place. And so parents are looking for a way to kind of direct that, maybe direct their focus a bit or their energy. And so Little Lions, I almost call it tumbling. We kind of just teach them how to move. When they come in, they're still learning left to right, and so we're teaching them how to move, how to stretch, and then we can graduate to actual punching and kicking and whatnot. And then as they get older, we can move them up into our youth program.
Like you said, the youth program from age 8 to 14, you can start moving into some of the moves then. At the beginning, they're learning what their bodies are all about. They're having a great time. The great time never stops. And really, this is something that teaches discipline to kids. Do you think that's important today?
Absolutely. Respect, discipline, all that stuff. You know, we're not an overly traditional school, but any form of martial arts or combat sports training teaches you discipline. Now, this discipline will carry you through life. I truly believe that. I think if they gain it early, they won't become victims of sloth or just you know, the bad habits. You know, if we look at, you know, we can go into this whole diatribe about like modern society, right? But the truth is you know, we own our decisions, and I think that if you learn early how to discipline yourself to work towards goals, that will carry you through life.
Setting goals, working hard, being accountable. These are all things that really kids are learning without even realizing that's going on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They're just having a good time, and they're just trying to keep up with their peers and not realizing what it's giving them.
The Art of Eight Limbs, why is it called that?
Well, the Art of Eight Limbs is because ultimately you have your feet, your hands, your knees, and your elbows, and so you can strike with all these points of contact. So that's why they refer to it as the Art of the Eight Limbs.
Stand-up striking and clinching, is that what that's called? What does that mean?
So in traditional kickboxing or boxing, you're not allowed to work in the clinch. Once you clinch up, usually a referee will break you up. But in Muay Thai, when we clinch up, you're able to hold people in these positions and strike with knees and elbows in a very close-quartered situation, close proximity, and do a lot of damage in that area. So that's what the clinch work is. And there's also throws and whatnot from the clinch.
Those who've never tried Muay Thai before, what are they surprised? I mean, are they surprised after a workout, and what are they most surprised about?
Honestly, I think it's the kicking. The Muay Thai kicks are very unique. You know, I came from Taekwondo, and I thought I knew how to kick. And I was pretty confident in the way I can snap and throw my kicks. But there's so many little details in just something as basic as a kick. Muay Thai is not a very sophisticated art in the sense that there's a lot of technical movements, a lot of strikes that you have to learn. There's a, you know, a basic tool bag of strikes, but to get those right is so many little details that you have to work up to. So some people get a little discouraged. It's like, no, I am opening my hip. No, I am turning on my toe. I felt like that was right. And I tell people, it could be thousands of kicks before you get it right, but once you have it, it'll never leave you. But that's what it is. It takes a lot to get to these, get to the point where it's very technical. And so I think that's what kind of surprises people, because what it looks like is they're just kicking really hard, you know, slamming into these bags or slamming into these pads, right? But they don't realize the technique involved behind those movements. So I think that's usually what surprises people.
So we're talking about adults of any ages that can come in, actually a great way to provide fitness, youth out there. I mean, it's pretty much a place you can bring your family, do a little bit of bonding here as well, because you can bring their youth. What about anti-bullying? I know that's something that's important for you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a real big advocate for the anti-bullying movement, and we're part of the Martial Artists Against Bullying program. So we do free seminars for the community. We just did one recently. We try to do that every quarter, and bring children. We don't do any sales pitches. We don't talk to the parents about membership. This is strictly for the children. No one has to be a member. We spread the word. We get as many kids in here as we can, and we try to teach them how to deal with a bully and how to basically have the humility and respect to not ever be a bully. If you can prevent it, then we'll have less victims in the future. But I truly believe that bullying can impact the way someone lives their life, you know, who they become. And I think that I'm very passionate about like getting in front of that at a very early age.
Very early age, excellent. Obviously, you have an experience of multiple disciplines that you've really studied into the past, be it Muay Thai, kickboxing, grappling. Are these all areas that are touched on here under one roof?
Oh, absolutely. I've won several titles in grappling, so my next primary skill set would be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or no-gi grappling is what we do here, which is submission wrestling. We also have kickboxing, but we use the kickboxing as more of a fitness aspect to bring in people who may not want to learn martial arts, but they want to, you know, maybe let out a little aggression, get a good workout. So we use the kickboxing as a way to give them a great workout and help them meet their fitness goals and lose some weight. But yes, we do offer a very good grappling program here as well.
Wonderful. I know for myself, I'm trying to get fit at home. A lot of people doing a home thing, but I've noticed when you're out with a group, you tend to push yourself a little bit harder, be it a boot camp or functional fitness. Is that what you found as well?
Oh, absolutely. I don't have a lot of one-on-one clients. People tend to feel more comfortable if they're with their friends, or they bring their sister, or they, believe it or not, they bring their kids, their teenagers and whatnot. People feel better if they're pushed by someone they trust, or maybe even strangers, but they feel better if they're not alone. A lot of them believe that if they're not in a one-on-one session, then I won't notice things. But then there's, we're constantly moving around to ensure that everyone's getting a great workout. But the group setting has really taken off as far as how people train. Even when people contact personal trainers nowadays, they're looking to, oh, well, me and 3 of my friends, because it's better to have someone with you that is motivated or can motivate you as well, and then you both kind of push each other in those sessions. And so that's what I've learned. And so we definitely have functional fitness boot camp type scenarios, and we encourage that whole group training thing. And then I partner people up a lot. Some people don't like it, but most people understand the benefit of partnering up. And then if this person's working hard, you can't really slack off when it's your set, it's your turn to kind of go. So I find that to be beneficial.
It naturally raises the bar.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things that, like you said, you don't have to be a professional competing fighter to come here. Mm-hmm. It's a family-friendly environment, but is this also a home for those that are competing? And obviously you're a 10 division, you have titles that you've earned in the past. So is this a great place for professionals as well?
Yeah. We breed competitors. Primarily, I tell people we're not a fight camp. We're here basically for the community, for the families. I never wanted it to be an intimidating environment. So I didn't want to fracture between a fighter type camp and a regular Joes who just want to learn. So we gravitate towards regular people. We want regular people to come in and learn the things that we're teaching and learn a combat sport and feel comfortable with it. But there are a handful. If you look around the lobby right now, you see some pictures of some of the people who fought amateur. Then they'll come to me 6 months later and say, I just want to try it. Get in there, see if my training is really, doing what I want it to do for me. I just want to see how, if I would push through a fight, if I would crack. I want to learn about myself. So I'm never going to say no. So I don't push that on my students. I tell people I don't want any of you to fight. But if they ever come to me and want to, I corner them. I give them full support. They get separate sessions because we have to kind of push them through a different training regimen. So if anyone ever comes and wants to do that, we'll support that. But that's not our primary function.
What your passion is basically helping students out there, individuals out there, in bettering themselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. We absolutely just want the betterment of the individual. We want to help people meet or exceed their fitness goals, and doing it in a fun way. I hate jogging. I get bored on, I don't like to run. So if I could find any other way to get my conditioning in, and that's what people find here. There's a lot of different movements, hitting heavy bags, just having a bit of fun and getting some aggression out. I mean, why not?
Why not? Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is his website. On the website, you're going to find his contact information right there. Reach out to him via email or give him a phone call. If you're not sure this is a place for you, come on in and try it out. I mean, basically, you can come on in. He set up a nice family-friendly environment. If you want to get fit, if you want to learn, have your kids learn about discipline as well as setting goals, working hard, being accountable, this is a great place to do that. And you can also see the different classes they provide. They've got a schedule online there as well. Once again, that is RAD, Muay Thai, Martial Arts and Fitness. RAD, ready and determined. This is Gary Atensi with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. Gary Atensi with CNTV, and today we're in Parker, Colorado. We're here at Kunjani World Coffee House. I have caught up with the owner of High Five Concepts. Brand new for 2014, they have been providing business foundations for smart growth. I want to start off, first of all, a little bit about yourself. Share with me a little bit about your background, how it is you got involved in this line of work.
Sure, absolutely. You know, I'm one of those typical people that went to school for one thing and I'm not using my degree at all. In college, I got a position doing some marketing and fell in love with marketing and the back office organization of things, and have just really gotten to experience every aspect of business growth and ownership, from payroll and human resources to getting out, feet on the street kind of stuff. So I fell in love with it. And then after working for big corporations for years, I said, gosh, who's doing this for small businesses? Who can afford a full-time marketing person as a small startup business? And that's when I got passionate.
I got passionate about it. Speaking of passion, many individuals out there, they're lucky enough to find their passion early on. Even more lucky, those that are able to turn that into a company. They take that passion, they turn it into a company, but very quickly they realize there's a lot more to it than just doing their passion. Are these the kind of folks that you're out there to help?
I am a firm believer in outsourcing. You do what you do best and let me do what I do best.
Oftentimes they go through burnout. They go through, their passion actually suffers because the fact that they realize they're now wearing a bunch of hats. A, many they don't even like. B, many times they're not trained in those. Are these the kind of challenges that you're able to take on as they outsource in your direction?
You kind of look at it almost like a hired on virtual assistant, really. Somebody who can do that marketing, somebody who can do that back office work, and sometimes you just need somebody to be your accountability coach to get you motivated.
Excellent. One of the main reasons companies out there fail is a lack of business, not getting the word out. How important is marketing, and is that something you're able to help with?
That is my favorite part. That's really the grassroots, what we need to do for every business, right? So instead of sitting on Facebook all day or making phone calls and emails, it's feet on the street, knock on doors, ask for business, and build relationships, and that's what I do.
So we're talking about feet on the floor, get out in the community. You're able to do that for folks. What about Facebook? What about social media? Does that play a big part nowadays?
Oh my goodness, it absolutely does, but I think you should supplement with it. If that's not your entire marketing program, you should supplement with it. I love Facebook. I absolutely adore Facebook. It's the face of your company. You get to go out and meet people that maybe normally wouldn't come into your storefront or call you for business, and you really get to show the face of your company on that.
What about a market analysis? Let's say we're not sure of what our competitors are doing, possibly what the public even wants. By you being out there in the community, is that something you can provide for folks as well?
It's important for your business plan, which every small company, every company should have, is a business plan. If you don't have your analysis, you don't know who you're marketing to, you don't know who your competition is.
Let me ask you this. A lot of times I see owners who continue wearing the hats. They try to fit in some marketing, but in so doing, they're not consistent. And not only they're not consistent doing in frequency, but even their branding, even the message they're putting out there. Is that something you focus on for these smaller companies?
Sure, it's putting a plan in place. Once you have that plan, you can stay consistent. You can make sure everything's streamlined and your face is out there regularly.
Regardless of the size of company we're talking about here, we need some type of organization. We're talking about being able to file your receipts, file your taxes, making sure you have license in place. Are these all pieces that you're able to help with, kind of like a virtual assistant, like you said?
Back to virtual assistant, it's funny, business owners have their passion and it's usually not paperwork. And then tax season comes around and they're like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to save all these receipts, I had no idea. And so it's getting those programs in place so that you can have a successful year and no failure.
Speaking of successful year, obviously being organized makes you more productive, but really it also keeps you out of legal trouble. We're talking about filing when it comes to payroll. Those are some eye-opening experiences, I imagine, for new business owners.
Absolutely it is. I can't even tell you how many companies I've worked with that are just like, oh my goodness, now that we have this plan in place and we know what we need to do, your year runs smoothly, and it's a one-time thing. You get it in place and you're good to go.
You're good to go. Let me ask you this. Many companies, they start out kind of small, maybe a little on down the growth. They realize that the systems in place yesterday are not working today. They need some new updated provisions. Is that something you're able to help?
Process and quality improvement right there. You should always be reanalyzing what you're doing and what you could be doing better. Always.
One of the marks of growth to me when I see a small company is when they start bringing on employees. Maybe at the beginning it was just them, maybe a couple family members, what have you, but now they've got employees in place. How important is the recruitment process, and is that something you're able to help when it comes to finding that talent?
This is one of my favorite things as well because, you know, I might be out doing some of that marketing for you. Now I've had my feet on the street, I know what we're marketing, I know who you are as a company, and it's time to find more talent to really take my place. I can go out, I can find exactly who I've known all along you've needed, and now you can hire them and they're yours full time.
Wonderful. I mean, many times the policies of a company are really inside the owner's head, and they've really never been put out on paper. Obviously, when you're bringing on a team and you want them all going in the right direction, how important is putting that policy in place in a written form, and does that keep everybody in the right direction?
Yes, you know, there are so many times where you can fly by the seat of your pants when you're hiring somebody, and you'll work it out later. You'll get to it later. But there's little things that come up here and there that you don't know how to deal with. What happens if there's a falling out? How are you going to deal with unemployment? What happens if that person falls on your clock and you need to deal with workers' comp? Again, get it done from the beginning, from the start, get it handled, and you're not going to have to worry about it later.
You're talking about saving yourself some headaches as well as saving some money, because mistakes can be costly. You're speaking about business foundations, not only for growth, but like your slogan says, for smart growth. Basically, not doing it the right way can be costly.
So many businesses fail in the first year of business because they haven't taken the steps to make sure that they're doing things in a smart way. It goes back to work smart, not hard.
Absolutely. How does somebody out there get started with you? Are we talking about a consultation? Do you go to them? Share with me.
I always do a free consultation, find out what your needs are, and then, you know, check out the website, see everything we have to offer. Let's just sit and talk, and we'll see what we can do together.
See what we can do together. Speaking of the website, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see their website. The contact information is right there. You're also going to be able to see a lot of the services she's able to provide. We're talking about a virtual assistant that is able to take you step by step through the growth of your company. You got to understand, the companies out there that continue to strive, they have these people in place. Have these systems in place. As a small business owner myself, I know what it's like to try to juggle multiple hats. I understand what it's like to realize that you're really not good at everything. And eventually, and quicker you get to that decision, you're going to be successful. Let me ask you this. Many times as a business owner, this is their baby. I mean, this is their child. And like we say, it takes a village to grow a child. It also takes a village to grow a business, and that's basically what you believe.
I couldn't have said it better.
That is really it. Let me ask you this. Obviously, a small community out here. Companies, you left the corporate world because you believe in small companies. Is that really where your passion lies?
I believe in, like you said, it takes a village, and these small businesses need each other to lean on and to use each other as resources. I do it.
We all do it, absolutely. Last time viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see her contact information right there. This is a company that began brand new in 2014, but with many, many years of experience, not only in the corporate world, but with really being out there on the street, dealing with small businesses, understanding their needs. That is Hi5 Concepts. Right here in Parker, Colorado, this is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. Until next time, if you know of a business who you feel the whole city should know about, nominate them, we'll send a reporter out. This is Gary Atencio from CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.